So welcome to today's session. If you are here, then you know that this session is the MTA Retiree Town Hall for those who are 67 years of age or older, or if you're under 67 and you attended the 9 a.m. session and you just want to be in the know, then you're also here for that. My name is Asia Simpson. I am the Wellness and Benefits Consultant. I've worked with you all for, I want to say the last 8 years. So you've either seen me in person or you've seen me doing this virtually in the past. Today, we also have with us on the line David Navarre with MTA, Alonzo Ibanez, and we've also got Laura Simmons from your benefits department. Today's session will be recorded, so if there is some technical issues that you're having or you're having some issues with the video, no worries, you will be able to view this later, and I will be showing you at the end of this session how to access it. And if you are not able to see it because you're having video issues, please reach out to me and I will make sure I can show you how to get the recorded viewing of this. It will be posted on the MTA webpage once we have all of the recordings completed. I am going to keep everyone muted, and just for the sake of time and making sure we can get through all of your questions, I am going to make sure that I go through all the content that I have to cover today first. And then once we finish all of the content, then I will open it up to all of you for questions. If there are questions that I think are very, very specific, I might ask that you and I talk one-on-one offline as opposed to answering your question in the full session. No worries, it's not that I don't want to answer your question, but I do have a duty to make sure that I work to protect your personal health information. And since this is a recorded session with lots of people, I want to avoid endangering any of your health information. Alrighty, so I am actually going to start off with sharing my screen. So I will pull up the presentation here, and then David, if you don't mind, if you can give me a thumbs up if you can see my, thank you so much. All right, so we'll go ahead and make this bigger and we will get started. All right, so as I mentioned, we're going to cover a lot of information today, and I will answer all of your questions at the end of going over everything, okay? But just to give you an overview of what we're covering today, we will be going over the district retiree reimbursement amounts for the upcoming year for those of you who are not quite 67. I'm aware that are some of you, even though this is the 67 and older session, some of you may not quite be 67 and may be approaching it, so I will briefly go over that. I will spend more time on the 2025 plan updates because that will be impactful for many of you. And I will review the CalPERS Medicare health plan options because some of you may be looking to switch plans. Many of you may not be, but just in case, I'll go over what they are for the 2025 year. We'll cover the dental and vision rates, and I do want to spend a little bit of time making sure you understand who to contact with for questions based off of what you're asking about. We'll review resources, and then I'm going to take a minute before I answer your questions to show you the MTA website so that you can see where you're going to be accessing this recorded link and where you can get the rate grid that shows what you would be paying and what's covered by the trust, okay? And then I'll open it up for questions. All right, so let's get started. So I mentioned today's presentation focuses on retirees who are 67 years of age or older. Okay, so that's you. And if you're not on mute, make sure you're on mute, just so that we don't interrupt anyone's ability to hear what I'm talking about. So there are different phases. There's a regular retiree up to the age of 67, and that was the session that I did at 9 a.m. And if you are someone who is under the age of 67, you're creeping up on that 67, then know that the Montebello Unified School District does reimburse retirees up to the age of 67. And if you will not be 67 This actually needs a correction. This is 2024. This amount, 1,710, will be the amount that is reimbursed in 2025. So please disregard that 24. In 2025, if you will still be under the age of 67, the district will be reimbursing you up to $1,710. Okay. Now, once you hit 67, I'm sure pretty much all of you know this, then the district stops doing their reimbursement, and that wonderful trust that you have been paying into all of this time, it kicks in and they reimburse up to $500. And that is this year, and they'll reimburse up to $500 in the 2025 year. I know you're looking at this and you're like, well, why is it such a big difference in the cost? Well, please keep in mind that when you hit the age of 65, you are eligible for Medicare eligible plans, which the vast majority of you who are on today's call are probably on the Medicare plans already. You already know what I'm talking about for many of you. So those plans are not as expensive as the basic plans, and so the trust does reimburse up to $500. And anything beyond the 500, though, you are responsible for. And what is created to help you understand what you are responsible for is the grid that MTA creates that shows based off of your region and your scenario, if it's just you, or if it's you and a spouse, a whole host of other different scenarios. It breaks out kind of what you're looking at for the out of pocket for medical. This refers to medical only. We will look at that once we commence going through all of the slides, okay? So medical insurance deducted from Stearns. Okay, so that's if you're not eligible for reimbursements. So we'll skip that part. All right, so I kind of said this already. I said the first two bullets already. Once you reach 67, the district reimbursements stop, the trust kicks in. But one other thing I want to mention to you is that when you retire, you probably already know this, but you are eligible for dental, vision, and life and long-term care through the district. Now, what I will say to you is you may say, Asia, I see all the time CalPERS has these plans with dental and vision on them. Why can't I just take those? You are welcome to do that, but I would caution you to take a pause before you immediately select a plan with dental already embedded in it through CalPERS. I would encourage you, before you drop your dental and vision from the district, to compare whether or not the one that is embedded in the CalPERS plans is better than or will meet your needs in comparison to the one through the district. And I say that because there's no start and stop with the plans through the district. So you can't enroll in it one month and then decide, oh, I don't want to do it next month. I'll just pick it back up the month following. No, you can't do that. You have to maintain continuous enrollment in the district plans for dental and vision. So just keep that in mind, okay? So this may not apply to many of you. In fact, it's generally just a few people that this applies to, but there is a district minimum contribution that has been mandated by PEMCA for those who retired September 30th, before September 13th of 2009. So if you're not a person who retired before September 13th of 2009, don't even worry about this. But basically what it is that there's an amount that the district contributes on your behalf. They pay that directly, that is paid directly to CalPERS. So you're not reimbursed any amount. There is not really anything that you'll really see that's paid by the district, okay? But the amount for the 2025 year is $126.40. So just need to make sure that you're aware of that. All right, so I want to mention this for those of you who are just approaching 65, and you may just be hopping on this session to find out the information for those who are 67 or older. Won't spend a lot of time on this, but 3 months before you turn 65, you want to apply for Medicare. You'll probably get a boatload of information, but keep the communications you get from CalPERS, Social Security, and the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. I also want to mention for those of you who are 67 or older, around these open enrollment periods, a lot of times there is so much marketing and spam. You'll probably even be getting calls from people. Who knows how they get a lot of our information, that they're calling and trying to get people to enroll. Some of it is not legitimate. So I would encourage you to not give any of your information over the phone to anyone. And unless you are 100% sure and have verified that you are speaking to someone from one of these legitimate agencies, CalPERS, Social Security's Center for Medicaid and Medicaid Services, I would not release any of my information to them by phone or by mail. So that's becoming an increasing issue. I've already had a couple of people reach out to me about mail communications that looked a little legitimate, but they weren't sure. Don't give your information out. There are people who unfortunately are out there who look to kind of take advantage of people's lack of knowledge around who's legitimate and who's not. When in doubt, ask. You're welcome to reach out to me and we can take a look at it together. But just I wouldn't give your information out. We do a Medicare 101 workshop every year. This year we're doing it twice. So if this even pertains to you at all, and you are approaching Medicare age, or you just want to know the information, a lot of times there are some of you who are already 67, but you have a spouse who is not, who is under the age of 65. This is important for you to know too. You can actually watch or have them log on to our Medicare 101 workshop. And so that might be beneficial to them. We did one in May. And so when you download this slide deck off the MTA webpage, and when you open it, you'll be able to click on the links where it says click here, and you'll be able to view the recording of the session that I did in May. But I'm also going to be doing one in November. So if you want, or if you have a spouse or someone are close to, that's part of your plan, that you want to have them review that session, you're welcome to do that. So I want to mention a little bit about CalPERS retiree premiums, because I know many of you have received notices, some of you notifying you of increases. I know that many of you speak with one another about these increases. And so I want to mention a couple things about the CalPERS premiums. They are set based off of where you live as a retiree. So I'm aware that not all of you decided to retire in Southern California. Some of you may be in Northern California. Some of you may even be out of state. Please note that the CalPERS retiree premiums are set based off of where you live. And so when CalPERS releases their rates, if you've ever been on their webpage, you'll see that they release 3 different rate grids. And when you look on the MTA website, and you look at that grid that shows you the premiums of what the plan is and then what the trust reimburse, you'll see that it has different regions. And so based off of one region, it made the cost of premiums may be different than another. So Northern California, Central California, Southern California, and then out of state. Currently, CalPERS, though, is working to kind of stabilize it so that there's one rate for all regions. And they decided to do that. They announced that last year, that this would be a 3-year process. We're into year 1, and now we've got 2 more years before they make that transition. And so that may make things a lot less complicated. So let's talk a little bit about what the plan updates are, because I know many of you have questions around that. So I'll break it up into medical and dental and vision. So the biggest change that many of you may be impacted by are the PERS PPO plans. And if you've been around for a while, which I know many of you are, then you know that for the past 2 or 3 decades, the plan administrator for the PERS plans has been Anthem Blue Cross. However, effective January 1st of 2025, Blue Shield will become the plan administrator. Now, I know this causes a bit of anxiety for some people with change. However, CalPERS and Blue Shield has identified that there won't be any changes to your copays, your co-insurances, your deductibles. All of that will remain the same for the new year under Blue Shield as the plan administrator. The other thing I've been able to confirm is that the pharmacy benefit manager for the PERS plans, the Platinum and the Gold, will remain with OptumRx. So if you have medications, I know many of you have a certain process that you've gone through to make sure that you have the meds that you have, and you just don't, the idea of that changing is a bit, nerve-wracking. Rest assured that will stay the same. From a coverage standpoint with your doctors and all of that, that should remain the same as well. Should you run into an issue where that maybe your provider or specialist may be maybe out of network, Blue Shield will provide some support around how to get a provider that is in network. But for context, the overlap between the Anthem Blue Cross and the Blue Shield network is high 90s, 95, 96, 97%. So what that means is that many of the doctors, almost all of the doctors and providers and specialists that are in the Anthem network are very likely to be in the Blue Shield network. There's a strong presence for both in the Southern California area. For those of you who are in a United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plan, I want to mention this may be important to you because I've talked to a few of you in the past, but as of 2025, the United Healthcare Medicare Advantage Edge plan will not be offered anymore. So in this current year, in 2024, all the way through December of this year, there are two United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. One's the regular and one's the Edge. Well, starting in January 1st of 2025, there will only be the regular United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plan. The other plan that will be no longer available, which probably doesn't matter to many of you who are in Southern California, but might matter for any of you who are in Northern California, Western Health Advantage Edge MyCare Select Medicare Advantage plan will not be available. That is leaving CalPERS as well. Outside of that, everything else from a plan standpoint, everything else will remain the same. And if you want to review all the plan options and offerings and all of that, you can click on the link that is here in the presentation. I will caution you that that information may not be up to date until open enrollment begins, which is next week. Okay, we'll talk a bit about open enrollment shortly. In terms of dental and vision, no changes in the plan. Co-pays, benefits, co-insurances, everything is going to be the same as what it is this year. It'll be the same for next year. So nothing to have to remember on that front, which is nice. Sometimes when it comes to this information, keeping things the same can be pretty comforting. So speaking back though with the CalPERS plans, I want to kind of go over what are the Medicare health plans that are available for the 2025 year so that you have an idea. I it up into Medicare Advantage plans and Medicare Supplement plans. So the Medicare Advantage plans, there are two HMO Medicare Advantage plans. Kaiser Permanente has two of them. And in a slide or two, I'm going to show you how they compare. I'm just going to do a quick compare just so that you guys are clear on that. But they have two. One is the Senior Advantage HMO plan, and you can get it with or without dental. And I want to make a quick note on that here in a second. And then there's the Senior Advantage Summit HMO plan. And you can get that one with or without dental. As I mentioned a minute ago, United Healthcare, PPO, Medicare Advantage plan, the regular one. Then we've got Anthem Blue Cross, Medicare Preferred, and Blue Shield Medicare Advantage. Those are both PPO Medicare Advantage plans. Essentially, the Medicare Advantage plans are plans for which have contracts with the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services. They've basically contracted with Medicare to be able to handle the administration, the billing, and all of that on behalf of Medicare. As it compares to supplements, and if you're not on mute, you could please put yourself on mute. We can kind of hear your background moving around. But if you have a supplement plan, how that differs is Medicare actually will be the first plan that is billed. That is who your doctors will be sending the initial billing to. And then if there is anything else that needs to be paid, then what will happen is supplement will pick that up so long as it's within the coverage limits of Medicare. Okay. All CalPERS plan options have prescription drug benefits. I cannot stress enough the importance of please do not enroll in a separate standalone prescription drug plan. It could kick you out of your Medicare health plan altogether. Okay, so that's something you do not want because you want to make sure that you can maintain all of your Medicare, all of your CalPERS plan benefits. So just make sure that you do not enroll in any of those plans, okay? All right, so what I will also mention too, as we've been talking about in the previous slide, effective January 1, the PERS, Platinum, and Gold plans are administered by, will be, and I'm gonna pause for a second. If I can have whoever is not on mute, if you can put yourself on mute, because I can hear myself echo and I can hear the background and it's, I don't want it to disturb anyone. Okay, so let me just do this 1 second here. Okay, perfect. Sorry about that, guys. I needed to put everyone on mute. Okay, so back to the information. So moving along, talking a little bit about the pharmacy benefit managers, I do want to mention that for those of you who have been around, you know that Optum RX is the pharmacy benefit manager for most of all the plans. However, Kaiser is their own, they do all of their own administration of plan stuff, and then your prescriptions are filled through Kaiser facilities. Blue Shield isn't exactly like that, but they are in charge of their actual pharmacy benefit management. So that is really for like your basic health plan. So this applies for those of you who are on the call to those of you who may be on a combination plan where maybe your spouse is they're not yet 65 and they're on a basic plan and they have Blue Shield. They would have their pharmacy scripts regulated through Blue Shield. Now, where this is going to be different is, as I mentioned, if you have a PERS PPO supplement for the new year, we know that Blue Shield is going to be the new plan administrator, but we also know that there won't be any changes to the pharmacy benefit manager for the 2025 year, in effort to keep you guys with being disrupted with as little as possible during this time of transition. Okay, so that will be the exception when it comes to Blue Shield. So I promised that I would share a little bit about the comparison between the two Kaiser plans, just so that you kind of have an idea. As a quick note, this comparison is also going to be is currently on the MTA retiree page. I'll show you that here once we go through all the information. But essentially what you're looking at here is the comparison of the two Kaiser Medicare Advantage plans. The first column is the traditional one that most people are familiar with, has been around for forever. And then the second one was actually rolled out several years ago. I would say maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. And this is the Medicare Advantage Summit Plan. And what you can see in the differences is really what you're paying throughout the year for going to doctor's visits, getting labs, if you have to have any allergy injections. All of that is zero for you out of pocket in the Summit Plan. Now, the annual out-of-pocket maximum is the same. The emergency visit is the same. The prescription drug benefit piece of things is the same. But if you have to pay out of pocket for some of these other things, if you are enrolled in the Summit Plan, there's no out of pocket. Okay. So what you will notice because of that is when you look at the grid and you say, okay, how much are these plans going to pay? What is the trust going to pay? You might notice that the Senior Advantage Summit Plan for Kaiser is a bit more expensive than the regular Senior Advantage. Pay for perks. It's basically what it is. So some important reminders around medical and open enrollment, things that I want to make sure that I reiterate and that you know of. I mentioned before, the 2024 CalPERS open enrollment for the 25 year is going to begin September 16th, 2024 and go through October 11th, 2024. All of the elections and changes you make during that time frame will take effect January 1 of 2025. You can use your current health plan with your current benefits all the way till December 31st, okay? But any plan changes you make during October 16th to October 11th, that is going to be effective January 1 of 2025, okay? Now, If you do decide to make a change to your health plan, you'll receive your new ID cards from your new health plan. Okay, not from CalPERS, but from the new health plan. Okay. So you want to make sure that if you don't get one, or if you don't get the information that you need from the new health plan, you reach out directly to the health plan to get those additional cards sent out to you. I want to mention that in some instances, there are life events that may happen where you have to make mid-year changes to your health plan. Those are very specific, and you can view the CalPERS webpage to see what they are. But what I want to say is that a medical group ending its contract or going out of practice or your doctor retiring, that is not considered a qualifying event, life event. And it does not make you eligible to change plans outside of open enrollment. If that was the case, if it is the case that your provider, your doctor, or the practice they work for going out of business, they aren't renewing their contract with your current plan, you would have to simply, I don't want to say simply, but you would have to choose a different provider in that particular instance, okay? As it pertains to the changes that you make, when you make any changes to if you decide to make any changes to your health plan, it's going to be a good idea for you to make sure you carefully review your warrant to ensure that your health plan premium has been updated based off of the new plan option that you chose. So that's going to be important. You want to check that too, because it may not necessarily be that you have changed your plan. If you added or removed a dependent, or you enrolled for the first time, you still want to be checking that to make sure it is in alignment with whatever change you've made. I have talked to people in the past where they called me and they said, "Oh, I just realized that a year ago they didn't update my dependent on my plan." So it makes it a lot more difficult to go back a year and tussle with CalPERS to make sure that they update that. So, it's very important for you to be paying attention to that. And if the January warrant doesn't show the new premium deduction, check for February. And if you don't see it for February, then you definitely need to contact CalPERS. Okay. So dental and PPO, this is a quick little reminder. This is not new information. This is just the same information that I have been showing you for the past couple of days, past couple of years since this change took effect. So there was an increase in your calendar year maximum in 2021. It went from 1,750 to 2,500 for the dental. And then now your fillings are covered as porcelain fillings as opposed to silver. And this took effect January 1st, 2021. So this is not new information. Okay. All right. And this applies to the dental PPO. Okay. Vision benefits and rates. So good news, no changes. No changes. So what you see here is what the current rate is, and it's also going to be what the current rates will be in 2025. Coast actually does the debits. Coast Benefits is the third-party administrator who handles all the debiting of your premiums. But the VSP Vision is the actual plan administrator. Okay. The dental benefits for your PPO plan, the rates not going to change either. So good news. The rates that you see here is what they are now, and it's what they will be for 2025. Again, Coast does the debiting. The dental benefits, whether it's the dental PPO or the dental HMO, they're both done through MetLife. Okay. So just in keeping with that, the MetLife dental HMO rates will not change. So none of the dental and vision rates will change going into the new year. All right. Quick little note for you, a dental HMO. A dental HMO is a dental plan that works very similar to an HMO plan. Basically what that is you've got to choose your dentist before you can go see your dentist. You got to choose your dentist before you can even have any visits with any specialty dentist, like maybe an oral surgeon or whatever. And it is basically a scenario where your dental provider regulates your access to any of your specialty dentists. So that's very similar to an HMO. And because of the rigidity and the regulation, it's a lot cheaper. If you notice, here are the Met 50 plan. Now, I had a question in the last session is, okay, well, I'm on a dental PPO plan. Can I switch over to a dental HMO plan? And am I stuck with it forever? Not forever. Whatever decisions you make during open enrollment for your dental and vision needs, if you decide to switch over to the dental HMO, you would have to keep it for, the plan year for 2025. But come open enrollment in 2025, if you decide going forward, hey, dental HMO is not for me, I need to go back to my dental PPO, you can make the change at the next open enrollment back to the previous dental plan. Okay. A special note on dental and vision payments. I want to mention to you, payments for dental and vision premiums will be deducted from the banking institution of your choice. And I want to be clear that if you had a banking institution when you retired that you submitted to the district as where you wanted your dental and vision premiums removed, and then later changed it but did not provide notice, there is no way the district's going to know that, nor are they allowed to just have access to your information. So you have to provide them with the updated information. So if you started off with, say, Camino and then decided to go to Chase, you will need to make sure you notify the benefits department of that information immediately. Because what can happen is failure can do so can cause a lapse in payments and then possibly have you terminated from your plan. Because if you recall from the beginning, I mentioned that you do need to maintain continuous enrollment in your dental and vision plan, okay? So a couple of quick FAQs between Coast Benefits, because I've mentioned them a couple times, and the Benefits Department. I'm doing these FAQs so that you kind of know who to ask which questions. So first question is, when are deductions typically withdrawn each month for dental and vision? Typically, deductions would occur between the 5th and the 15th of each month. I'm aware that in the past, some of you may have experienced some issues, one reason or another, and that may not have happened. But typically, that is when they occur. And the vast majority of people, that's when they're going to occur for, okay? There may be one-off scenarios. If that's the case, that may apply just to you. But in general, that is when they come out. If there is an error in the deduction amount for my dental and or vision premium, who should I contact to get it corrected? First and foremost, you want to contact the benefits department just to confirm your tier, your plan tier. So that's like, am I on a single plan? Am I on a two-party plan? Am I on a family plan? And what is the amount that should be deducted based off of those plans? That's where the first place you want to go, because you want to make sure that what you understand as terms of what tier you should be on is in alignment with what is on file. Then you can contact Coast and let them know the correct billing amount or correct billing tier and resolve it from there. In terms of the benefits department, in terms of frequently asked questions, these are really not the only questions, but these are the most frequent that we have gotten, and I want to address them. So who do I need to contact if I need to change my banking information? I mentioned 2 slides ago, it's the benefits department. You want to let them know that you typically will have a form that you fill out with the banking information change. How do I find out how much my dental and vision premiums are? I just answered that question. You can contact the benefits department, or you can look at this presentation and it has the different premiums. But ultimately, there is a letter that the benefits department does create. They don't mail it out anymore. It is posted on the benefits page. I'm going to show you where that is here shortly, so you know where it is. But it does have the dental and vision premiums, and if you are a person who is still under the age of 67, it has the medical reimbursement amounts for that year. So you can also call, as I mentioned, the benefits department. Who do I need to contact for changes in enrollment? For changes in medical plan enrollment, CalPERS. The benefits department does not participate or does not have access to, or is not allowed to make any benefit changes for you. That is CalPERS. That is for the medical benefits. Now, if you are talking dental and vision, then the benefits department can help you with that. Dental and vision plan changes only are what the benefits department can help you with. Medical is CalPERS. And if you have a question on vision and life insurance and long-term care, you need to contact those providers. So that would be Unum, and it would be Lincoln or CISC. When will I get information on medical, dental, and vision rates? Each year in the fall, a letter is posted on the benefits website. It advises the dental, vision, and medical. I know I'm being repetitious, but I just want to make sure I hit home where you can get this information. And if you download this presentation deck, these links are hyperlinked, so it will take you, if you click on them, if you open up the presentation from the MTA retiree website and you're looking at it as we're looking at it now, and you click on the links, they're active. So it'll take you right to where this information is directing you, which in this case, it's the benefits department website. Okay. So quick review, just to compare them. Benefits can provide you with premium information on dental and vision. You can also find this information on the MTA retiree page. They handle changes in enrollment for dental and vision, and they have access to dental and vision benefit information specifically. Coast, they can provide you the premium information that is already currently on file and what's being deducted. They're the people who deduct the dental and vision premiums, and they don't really have information on dental and vision benefit information. So if you have questions like, oh, what's my calendar year maximum? Coast is not who you want to ask. You want to go back to the benefits department, or you want to view any information that you have received from with regards to the presentations in the past. Who do you contact? Okay, so we've got a whole slew of resources here, which is Jonette Tucker is with Coast. Her telephone number here, and there is some backup. Courtney Bowles, I have her email address listed here. We've also got the MTA retiree website, and we have the benefits department contacts, email contacts, long-term care, which is Harris Kivitz, his email and phone number. And then you have my contact information here. Asia@jglenn.com is my email address. And then many of you have my telephone number already. So that is listed here in this presentation deck. I want to mention again, all aspects of open enrollment for medical need to go through CalPERS. That includes policy selection, eligibility, adding and deleting dependents. And we have the telephone number and the email address listed here. Now, before we go into questions, I want to show you quickly, how do you, this is the question that I know I'm going to get in the chat box. Where do I go? What's the links? What do I click on to get this recording? Where do I go? What's the links to get to the downloadable resources? How do I get to that rate grid that shows me the rates and what the trust pays? So I'm going to show you that. You can find that on the MTA webpage. If you've not been on this page, you will want to go to the Montebello Teachers Association webpage, and to the far right is the link for the retiree page. So you click on retirees, and what it's going to do is bring you to this page. Now, what you see right now is says announcing 2024 MTA retiree health benefits tab. Okay, so what is going to be down here? These are the links. Of course, they're not ready yet because we're still doing the sessions. So don't go into it and click on it thinking you're going to have today's session. We're not done with the sessions, but they will be updated with the slideshow, which were the slides I was just showing you, and with the recording link. And the first one is for those who are not yet 67, and then it will be for those who are 67 or older. This is where you will go to view the recordings and pull down these slides, okay? I also mentioned to you that there was a comparison for the Kaiser. This is it here. We looked at it in the slide, but it compares the Kaiser Permanente Summit and the Summit and the regular Advantage plan. So you can look that here, or you can take a look in the slides that I just showed you. But either way, the information is there. Also, this is the grid that so many of you asked me about. So if you click here, it will pull up the actual grid. Oh, needs to be, here we go. So this is real quick. This is for the 2025 year for those who are over 67. You will have the option to pull up either one. You just click on the link. I'm not going to go through line by line on this because we simply do not have the time, and I don't want to confuse any one of you. We have about 81 people logged in today, so that would be very time consuming. But I will say a couple quick things. When you're looking at it, make sure you're looking at your region. So several slides before, I mentioned that CalPERS rolls out the rates based off of region. So MTA does these rate grids based off of region. This one is region 1. You can see that at the top. It tells all of the counties. So if you're not sure if you are in region 1, 2, or 3, look for your county. Okay. Then in here, it also tells you based off of your plan, you select, and then what your scenario is. That's important. So if you can see here, if we're talking about the Anthem Select or Medicare Preferred PPO plan, if you're a retiree with Medicare, then the rate is $487.56, and then your reimbursement amount will be $487.21. Okay. So the trust will cover the full amount there, okay? Shy of 35 cents. So that now just keep in mind, if you choose a plan that is more expensive, which usually the more expensive plans will kind of take you into when you're adding a dependent. It does vary too, also from the type of plan. Each plan has different rates, and the rates vary also based off of whatever tier you are choosing, okay? But make sure you check for your scenario, because as you can see, that first one was a retiree with Medicare. That's pretty simple. But then the next one is a retiree with one dependent. Both of you guys are on Medicare. Then there's a retiree, one dependent, only one of you are on Medicare. So you want to make sure you're looking at like what your scenario is, okay? Okay, so that is the actual rate grid that many of you tend to ask about. All right, so there's other good information on here. I would encourage you to take a look at this page. Now, the second thing I would like to go over with you all is the benefits page. This is where you're going to find the retiree rate letter. Now, we just received all of the updated reimbursement amount information.
Asia, if you refresh, the new one should be out there.
Oh, okay. Let me refresh them. All right, perfect. Thank you, Laura. Can everyone see the refreshed version here where my mouse is pointing? 2025 retiree rate letter. So if you go onto the benefits page, actually, let me take a step back because some of you may not know how to get to that. So I want to make sure you know how to get to it. Now, if you know how to get to the Montebello Unified School District webpage, which you can easily just type that into Google, Montebello Unified School District page. And if you click on it, it'll bring you here. This is the main page. What you then want to do is go to units and benefits. Now, you can also click on the link in the slides that I displayed. So the direct link is in the slides. So if you can't remember, just go to the slides. Now, on the right-hand side here is the 2025 retiree rate letter. And for those of you who need to know only the dental and vision, that information is here. Dental PPO information is here, dental HMO, and then the vision. If you are under the age of 67, then here are the reimbursement rates for that, okay? As well as the contact information for CalPERS and your benefits department. Okay.